You are listening to The Michael Lodge Show. Wealth, business, and taxes. Oh, yeah, and some politics. Let's get started.
And good morning, this is Mike Lodge. I always say good morning only because I do this early in the morning. Every morning I get up, look at my email, look at what the subject matter I'm going to talk about today, and then I start podcasting, and I start rambling. Sometimes I think it's all rambling. I don't know if there's a good thought process or not at this early in the morning, but okay, fine, I'll do it. Listen, yesterday what we saw out of Congress was just another show of Democrats showing how much they hate America. It's not just about one man anymore. It's not just about Donald Trump. It's about the entire United States. Anybody who believes differently from what a Democrat believes, they are scum. That's how they believe. Now, I wanted to think just a little bit. Okay, so we have a lot to get done in this nation. You know, we've got an infrastructure that is falling apart. We've got the border wall. We've got taxes. We've got business incentives. We've got national defense. We've got a whole bunch of things that we need to be working on for this great country of ours. So I was looking at the salaries, okay, of these members of Congress and also the Senate. Now, senators and House representatives, their take-home salary, their salary that they get from Congress, $174,000. That does not include all the other perks that they get, the medical care, the free gyms, the restaurants that they have inside the Capitol just for the congressmen and the senators. They get so much perks that it's a pretty cushy job for $174,000. It really is. And plus travel, all the travel expenses are all paid for, everything. So we had a whole bunch of people. What do we have, like 500 people in Congress at $174,000 each? Now, the other issue that we have is now the majority leader gets $193,000 and the what is her name? I'm trying to find it here on my thing. Majority leader and the majority leader and the minority leader both get $193,000. So that means Schumer and the GOP leader are both getting $193,000 to sit there and well, I don't know. But anyway, if you can think about it, we are paying these people a whole bunch of money. A whole bunch of our tax money. And what are we getting for it? Certainly no work is being done. The bills are being generated out of the legislature at the moment. You have no idea what's stuffed inside it. Every single bill has something else stuffed inside it because they're all making deals with everybody else. Hey, if I vote for your bill, then can you stick this in? Just stick it in. Just a few words, just stick it in. So we have a whole bunch of bills that are being passed that have a whole bunch of garbage inside it. People like to call it pork. I call it garbage because that's what porks eat. But it's a bunch of garbage. So what we saw last night was a Congress willing to put the people's needs to the side so that they could play hateful politics. And that's all that we see coming out of Washington, D.C. at the moment is hateful politics. And it's led by the leader, Nancy Pelosi, and all of her little underlings, all of those people that worship her at her pantsuit. So we are not getting the benefits of what we voted for. All the individuals that have gone to Washington, D.C. become corrupt very quickly. They don't seem to have any ethics standards. They never bring anybody up on ethics and nothing. If they do, nothing ever happens to those individuals. There's a whole slew of individuals that are serving in Congress at the moment that are so unethical they should not be there. They are so anti-American that they should not be there, but they're there because no one ever does anything to them. The only people who can ever remove these idiots and sanction these people are you and me. That's the only way that we can change Congress and get anything done. The next elections are in 2022, which is, listen, this time goes very fast. We're in 2021 at the moment. Pretty soon it'll be 2022. And members of Congress are going to be up for a vote again. Remember, a congressional term is only 2 years. So every 2 years they have to go out and campaign again. Get reelected. So we're paying those guys $174,000 just to sit there and play politics. We are wasting our money. I have never seen such a waste of money in my life. Honestly, I think that we have too many people in Congress. You've got too many. I think that we need to get back to maybe, I would say, okay, let's just do 2, just like we have in the Senate. We have 2 senators from each state. Maybe it's time that we go down to 2 in the Congress also. These individuals that are sitting there right now are political hacks, and they are just milking the system. They're writing their books. They're making millions off of that. They're getting their $174,000 in their free jet rides and in their car allowances and everything else. And we Americans are paying for nothing getting done in Washington, D.C. How long have we been talking as a nation in every single election, year after year after year after year, about the infrastructure of this nation, and yet nothing ever gets done? We have got roads and bridges and streets and everything else that are literally decaying. And we are paying such high amounts in federal gas tax and state gas tax, and still we have lousy roads that we're bouncing around on, damaging our tires and wheels. See, that's the problem, is that when you become a politician, you talk a good game. I mean, you are talking and talking and talking, and you have to be this used car salesperson. Sorry, used car people, but it's analogy, okay? You have to become this person that has to go out there and sell every single day how good you are, but yet you do nothing. So we have a Congress that basically is sitting there just spinning their wheels over and over and over again. They don't like this, they don't like that, they don't like what somebody else said, so they try to sanction them. They don't like it. Is a continual mess inside the United States Congress. There is no ethics inside the United States Congress. And I'm sad to say this, not just Democrats, not just Republicans, it's all together. They're all in one big boat of nonsense. And it's time that we begin to confront them and saying, what are you doing in your job? What are you doing? What are you doing? Because so far you have had no bills passed. You have written no bills, and the bills that you have written were so bad that no one wanted to even read them. And by the way, this reading of bills, you guys are not even reading your bills before you vote on them. How stupid can you be? You guys are not reading your bills. Here you have 1,000 pages, and you're not even reading it. You're not even having your staff read it. If Americans ask them a question about that bill, they cannot answer it because they don't know. They have never read it. That's why we have such stupid laws that become law. You have all of these amendments and all of this stuff that get tacked on to all of these bills before Congress, and pretty soon you may have a bill about flowers, but in actuality, because of all the tack-ons in there and all the pork and everything else that gets tacked onto a bill, you now have a submachine gun because it's so bad. So it went from flowers to a submachine gun because you've got so much nonsense within these bills. I tell you, I think that at some point in time, you've got to just, if you have a bill, submit the bill, but have no other tack-ons. No other bill should be tacked on to other bills. Because it just makes everything tremendously bad. And I'll give you a good example. A few years ago, they had a transportation bill that was before Congress, and it was supposed to do a whole bunch of different things. But really deep inside that bill, there was another bill. Had nothing to do with transportation. The bill that was inside that bill, the little sneaky son of a gun, was on foreign bank accounts. If you had more than $10,000 in a foreign bank account, you had to report it to two places, the Internal Revenue Service and the Treasury Department under a special reporting rule. If you didn't report it, and they found out about it, it could become a criminal charge. Now that was in a transportation bill. That's how sneaky these members of Congress and the Senate are. Hold them accountable, people. Ask tough questions of your members of Congress and the Senate because they don't know what they're doing. They're there for the $174 and the free plane rides. That's what they're there for. They're there for the cocktail parties and the big dinners and the state dinners and everything else that goes on in Washington, D.C. They like to put their black ties on and go out and look really important. For our $174,000, that's what they're doing, but they're not getting anything done in Congress. That's right, Congress has such a low rating. I think it's at, 14% at the moment, or even maybe even less than that. But they've got a low rating with the American people because nothing is getting done. So when you see members of Congress standing up there giving big long speeches on how they should impeach the president when he only has a week left in office, and you see this and you say, what kind of idiots have we voted into Congress? But it's all show. And it's all show because they're vindictive and they have hate within their hearts. And I'm telling you right now, it's not just for that one person, Donald Trump, but it is for all the people that he represented. That's a dangerous Congress. So when you have a hateful member of Congress representing you, you have no representation. None. Zero. It's gone. Those of you who keep supporting Maxine Waters, you have no representation. I'm telling you this right now. You have no representation in Washington. No one is there speaking for your needs and looking out for your needs in your community, in your district that she represents. Those of you who are in Nancy Pelosi's district, you are not being represented. Only a political party is being represented. You, as an individual, as a citizen, as a taxpayer who's paying her that $193,000 or $174,000, whatever it is, you're not getting your money's worth. Your investment is gone. It's washed away. I'm telling you, you have to look at the money issue of this when you are paying these people a good salary. And yet they're not doing anything for the American people. Listen, I would love to be able to challenge Congress. Hey, I'm challenging you to become better. Do some work. But they get entangled into this political nonsense, this political hate, and nothing gets done. Nothing gets accomplished. And the American people are sitting here saying, my gosh, what is happening with this country? And people say, well, we're so angry because Americans are so angry. Politicians are saying this. We're so angry because American people are being so angry. They're so angry. But when you see this hate coming out of Congress, don't you expect the American people to be angry because there's nothing being done? Don't you think that incites violence at some point in time because people are so fed up because of a do-nothing Congress? That is where we're sitting at the moment because nothing is getting done except hateful politics. So we have a Congress of hate. That's all that we have is a Congress of hate. And the more and more that we Americans sit here and let them get away with this, we are really treading on stupidity as Americans. We really are. If you do not speak up, if you do not stand up, if you do not question them, if you do not confront them on the work that they're doing, they just sit there and they have their martinis at night for $174,000 a year. You and I have become stupid because we're not holding these individuals accountable for the work that they're supposed to be doing for the American people. We are stupid. So listen, we have got to get better at this, okay? We have got to be able to take back our Congress and get people in there that are representing us, listening to us. But the problem with Washington is that you have these great ideals, right? And you have these politicians that really have a desire to go there to do something different, to make a difference. But when they get there, the hunger for power engulfs them, takes control over their bodies and minds, because that power is what they want. And they forget about the work that they're supposed to be doing because they're so engrossed upon power. What committees am I going to be chairman of? What power on the purse strings of the nation will I have? How can I destroy other people? Because I've got the power now to do it. So we stupid Americans, we sit here and we take it and we're dumb. We have got to change America. We have got to change our way of how we're looking at people to vote into office, because what's happening now is we're wasting a ton of taxpayer dollars on people who are not working for the American people. You and I have got to make this change. So 2022 is coming up here. It's going to be another election year. And you and I are going to have to challenge these people who are running for office to make sure that they're the right people. And we have got, as groups of people, have got to be able to start looking for people to change some seats, because some of those people in Congress, well, a lot of them, the majority of them, need to be changed out. That's why we need to have term limits so very badly. Can you imagine there's been people there for 30 and 40 years serving in Congress? Okay, people, you and I have got to make some changes here. You and I have got to start taking some control. We have got to do better. That $174,000 is a lot of money. You and I could do a lot with it. That is for sure. You and I could do a whole bunch of good stuff with $174,000. Just think, if we had that $174,000, do you know how much food that would buy kids who are hungry in our communities? Or shoes for kids who need shoes because their parents can't afford it? Or for the elderly who need a little bit more money to buy food? In the food banks, to be able to fill up the food banks with food so that people who are in need can go. That $174,000 could do a whole bunch of good instead of a whole bunch of damage that it does in Washington, D.C. You and I, Americans, buddy, united, have got to make some changes. Listen, if you have any messages or texts or questions, send me an email at mlodge@lodge-co.com or send me a text at 818-252-5682. Again, that's 818-252-5682. Listen, if you like my content, my mouth is going dead. I need more coffee. If you like the content that I produce, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Michael Lodge altogether. Okay? That would really help because I really need your help to produce these podcasts and vlogs and blogs and everything else that I do. Because I am so determined to teach you guys about business, but also about how we need to do better in government. In the next few weeks, we're going to be talking more and more about business and what we need to start doing for 2021 to become a success, because it's going to be a tight year in 2021. There are going to be more layoffs. There are going to be more economic downturns. There are going to be higher taxes if Joe Biden gets his way. So you and I, we've got to plan for that. And we're going to be talking about that soon. Listen, this is Mike Lodge. I'll talk with you soon. Everybody, go out. Have a great day. God bless. This podcast has been produced by Michael Lodge, fully focused on content.